be seated. Joyful, joyful, what a great day. I'm Jeff Morin, president of the college, and it's my distinct honor and pleasure to welcome you all to this commencement ceremony. I welcome the graduates, family members, friends. It's also my pleasure to introduce the MC for the ceremony today, a person who is completing her FYE experience, first year experience. It means very little to all of you, but we've all gone through the FYE program. And with today's ceremony, it will complete her first year at MIAD. So it's my pleasure to welcome our Vice President for Academic Affairs, your MC for the ceremony, Jody Eastberg.
Thank you, Jeff. Well, good morning. You look incredible. What a great day. And most importantly, congratulations to the MIAD class of 2026. As I complete my first year at MIAD as your vice president, I've had the privilege of getting to know many of you, helping install work, problem solving through challenges, watching you collaborate with clients, and sharing the smaller moments too, like an overcrowded elevator or awkward moments on the stairs. You've embodied MIAD's values of creativity, kindness, inclusion, and community. And through it all, you've set an incredibly high bar for my expectations for senior class. You've demonstrated what makes the MIAD community so special, and we're really fortunate to be a part of it. So good for you. This morning you'll hear much of what makes this class and MIAD itself so extraordinary through the voices of our students. And so now it's my pleasure to introduce 5 students and 1 faculty member selected by the graduating class to speak today. Are you all ready? Okay. Our first speaker is Jessica Turnbull, a student, yes, Jessica. Jessica's from Washington, Illinois, and is receiving her BFA in Communication Design, summa cum laude. Please join me in welcoming Jessica.
Good morning, fellow graduates. As she said, my name is Jessica Turnbull, and I'm incredibly honored to be chosen as a speaker for the class of 2026. I would like to express my gratitude to the staff and professors who have made this achievement possible for me and everyone here. Thank you for being such strong mentors throughout our creative and educational journey. Your encouragement has pushed all of us here to become stronger artists who embrace the process, the failures, and the successes of our work. I would like to also thank my family personally for supporting me in pursuing my dreams and creative passions, even if it was a bit daunting to send me off to art school. I'm sure many of you have family or friends who have encouraged you along the way, so be sure to thank them as soon as you can. What has going to an arts college taught me over these past 4 years? Well, I learned a side effect of becoming an artist is that you will have to endure 3-hour critiques on very stiff stools, or you will never quite have enough storage on your computer for the endless Adobe files. Or for my fellow CD classmates, you learn that you will never escape a mood board. Adam and Nicole made sure of that. In all seriousness, the path that I've taken throughout my educational journey has been great. I've learned so much over the past 4 years that I will hold on tightly for the rest of my artistic and professional journey. I would like to speak to my classmates today and thank them for everything they have done for me. You may be thinking, who is this person speaking to me and how have I contributed to her journey? Well, even if I don't know you, you have helped me become the best artist that I can be while I've been here. No matter the major or medium, the endless creativity, hard work, and complex perspectives that every one of you has offered through your work has inspired me and pushed me to become the greatest artist that I can be. I see such great work from so many of you, and I can't imagine how that'll evolve as you further your creative journey. I want to acknowledge my peers in communication design. Each of you is so hardworking and dedicated, and it shows. The beautiful and innovative work that you have all created over the years has pushed me to do the same, and I can't thank you enough. I'm glad that we are able to collaborate so closely as a group and become friends. I don't want to leave because that means I won't get to see you guys or talk to you every day in the studios, which means I won't be able to procrastinate anymore. I will really cherish every moment that we have had together. I've become endlessly curious throughout my years here, and I've always been pushed to ask questions. As students, we have learned to create solutions, consider everything from multiple perspectives, and find answers to our questions. My biggest question I have faced is, where do I go from here? The beautiful, or maybe the scariest, answer to come out of this question is that there is no clear, correct answer to this. Sure, we can say we'll find a job, get a residency, or work with a big brand, but you never quite know where life will take you. I mean, look, I started my journey here thinking I would focus on photography, and now I'm one of those weirdos who are really obsessed with typography. Don't get me started with a good serif font. As we have been taught, the process is one of the most important steps to succeeding, so embrace it and enjoy it. There might not be a straight answer as to where you will go from here, but your passion, dedication, and determination are what will take you so far. The future isn't something that we can walk into easily. It is something that we will learn how to build ourselves. Make mistakes, fix them, scrap a project, create something new, but don't lose your passion. Stay inspired, and I believe you will lead a fulfilling life. I hope that you look back at your time here and you are proud of yourself. Everyone has come such a long way, and it wasn't easy. As you walk across the stage, cherish the moment and be proud of how far you have come and how hard you have worked to get here. You deserve this moment. Thank you and congratulations, class of 2026.
Thank you, Jessica. Next, we have Bailey Starkle, a student from Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Bailey's receiving her BFA in Fashion and Apparel Design, cum laude. Please join me in welcoming Bailey.
For thousands of years, our mothers have been sewing. From the oldest known woven linen garments to the high art of haute couture today, for as long as man has worn clothing, women have made clothing and have passed down that knowledge to each new generation. When I was a little girl, I would go through my mother's scrap bins and pull out pieces of fabric and trims. I would hand them to her alongside a drawing of what I wanted and my Barbie doll and say, "Here, make this." Those are my very first designs. I was a very demanding designer. I knew exactly what I wanted, and I was unwilling to compromise on my vision. Some things never change. We often like to joke that the fashion major felt like a season of Project Runway. With the fewer and fewer of us that there seemed to be, it sometimes felt like we were all competing against each other to make it to the end, instead of all working towards the same goal. And certainly there were times where it felt like that chaotic sort of competition, whenever we were rushing to finish assignments in the hour before a critique, when we had to run for last-minute supplies on the other end of town, or when we were bickering with each other over the execution of a group project. And there was certainly a make-it-work moment or two, or 3, or 5. Of course, having such a small cohort like this means we all got to know each other extremely well, for better or for worse. But also because of that, I've been able to watch all of us grow and change and develop as designers and as people. When I look out at the rest of my FAD peers, I see a group not just diverse in their backgrounds, but in their skill sets and their creative visions too. A group that if you asked each of them individually to make a shirt, you get 5 completely different designs. A tank top made out of doilies, a t-shirt with a 6 screen print, a satin blouse with a hand-beaded trim, a colorful knitted sweater, and a Victorian bodice with the largest set of sleeves you've ever seen. We are designers, the next generation of the fashion world. Fashion is art, and we are artists, the same as any other graduate in this room. The fact that our medium is fibers does not change that, and the fact that our discipline comes from a legacy of women's work should not diminish our accomplishments. We are the product of every mother that has come before us, every son and daughter that has ever learned to sew from another over the thousands of years of the history of clothing. We are creatives that come from a long lineage of artisans, and the act of creation is not something that any machine can ever take from us. Of course, none of this happens without all of the members of our small but mighty FAD faculty who got us here. You do so much for this school and this community, and this program would not be the same without your expertise and your passion for what you do. And of course, I have to thank the mother of the fashion program herself, without whom the major would be nowhere near where it is today, our dear Sarah Eichhorn. She wove this program. She wove this program with her own two hands, and I know she does not get nearly enough credit for it. From myself, I have to thank my mother, who always encouraged me to chase my dreams, who told me that no obstacle was too large, and who always reminded me when I needed it that perfection is overrated. Without her, I would have never made it across the stage today, and I never would have developed my passion for fashion and sewing as deeply as I have now. And to that next generation of MIAD fashion students, we paved the way for you and your futures, and wish you the best of luck in continuing to help this major blossom into something extraordinary. We are the first generation of MIAD fashion and apparel design graduates, but you are the next generation, and what you do next will shape the program for the future. I know you will do great work. Make us proud. To every mother, grandmother, and ancestor that has ever picked up a sewing machine, a crochet hook, a knitting needle in the past hundreds of years to allow us, to allow anyone to be a student of the craft, we thank you for all of the legacy you have let pave the way for us.
Thank you, Bailey. Greta Behrens, a student from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, is receiving their BFA in Fine Arts New Studio Practice, summa cum laude. Please join me in welcoming Greta to the podium.
As Oscar Wilde once said, art is the most intense mode of individualism the world has known. Hello all, thank you for being here today. We finally made it. My name is Greta Behrens, and I am an oil painter and fine art new studio practice major. I want to thank all of the professors that make MIAD wonderful, support us, mentor us, and hold us to a high standard. Also, special shout out to adjunct faculty. I am so grateful to all the people who are close to us and helped us during this journey. I'm reflecting on some of my best experiences and most treasured memories at MIAD. I cannot forget how exhilarating and truly joyous thesis night at the Charles Alice Museum was. All that stress and the long days felt so worth it. On the flip side, this series of memories might seem simple in comparison to the grandeur of thesis night, but they stick with me. I was thinking about what I will miss most and what will be the hardest adjustment. That would be the community in the studios. I have fond memories of working on my paintings and wandering around and having good conversations with friends, fellow classmates, and teachers. What made this experience memorable was it was intense and all-consuming in the best way possible. A daily reminder that we can do it and that our creativity matters. It was being in the flow state with just our art, headphones, and being connected to making. Some of the best and most crucial conversations have come from the studios. I always needed and still need someone to tell me when the hand I drew looks wrong, or how engaging it was discussing a friend or classmate's artistic practice. I want to share some of my favorite parts of making art and a few words of advice to remember when things become difficult or feel boring. It's likely we will feel a crash after we graduate, or at the very least, things will feel different than the past couple of years. We are older and are maturing as artists and will be creating and working in a different setting. There are 3 things to consider. Number 1, keep lightheartedness in our practice. We all started making art because it was fun, even if the work we create might be very serious. It's important to remember the sheer delight of materials, ideas, and exuberant colors and forms. Fuel yourself with your inspirations and obsessions. Consume things that make you want to make art and feel seen. Number 2, the momentum must go on. I love how kinetic the energy in the studios was. We were all working, keeping each other motivated, and knowing that we were holding each other accountable to small and big goals. This means something different for everyone, but in essence, fuel yourself and your community will support you. New projects might feel small in comparison to thesis, but this should not discourage you. It's a new chapter to ease into. And number 3, you seriously need to lore max. In essence, what this means is acquiring strange and interesting life experiences, intentionally or unintentionally, and embracing it as part of the weird and unique beauty of life. Book that flight to Moldova, become an apprentice, write an artistic manifesto, go on a road trip with friends, start an oil painting commune in Norway where everyone wears linen smocks and paints by candlelight. This mentality helps me when I feel down. It makes me be sure there's always something new to discover, and life is stranger than fiction, and that's something really wonderful. As trite as it sounds, there's always something to be really, really excited about. We need to remember that even within fine art new studio practice, we all have different and equally unique and fulfilling artistic career paths. There's no right way to be an artist, and that's the beauty of this way of life. Some of us want to show across the US and internationally. Some of us want to keep participating in and transforming the local scene, or work with a crew on building things for larger projects. Our class has really realized and embraced the potential of uniquely avant-garde and DIY spaces. We can even take a different path and utilize our valuable skills in a completely new context. These skills will always be helpful and enlivening. It's hard to be an artist, and we will surely stick together as a community and support each other after we graduate, even if we are spread out across the world. I will repeat what all the professors keep saying: keep making after school. I really hope to see your work in galleries, projects, DIY spaces, and more. In the current political climate we live in, it is our crucial responsibility for us as artists and humans and as community members to stay engaged and fight fascism and injustice. Trans rights, free Palestine, ICE out. Thank you.
Thank you, Greta. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce Courtney Deering, a student from Marshfield, Wisconsin. Courtney is receiving her BFA in Interior Architecture and Design, magna cum laude. Please join me in welcoming Courtney.
Good morning. Wow. I'm not gonna lie, I am absolutely terrified right now. I am not a public speaker by any means, and in fact, I avoid it like the plague. But when I was approached to speak at graduation and then selected by my peers shortly after, it felt like an opportunity to push myself and step outside my comfort zone instead of letting it pass me by. To make this speech thing a little less intimidating for me, and ideally a bit more entertaining for you, I'll be sneaking in some movie quotes along the way. So without further ado, I give you a Deering production. Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for, or at least the moment you can finally say, I made it, after surviving intense coursework outlines that pushed us to our limits, group projects that tested every last ounce of patience, and that one class where the Wi-Fi worked about as often as a unicorn. Somehow, against all odds, we're here and we made it. So welcome graduates, parents, family, friends, and unhappy siblings forced to sit through this ceremony. I am deeply honored to be chosen as one of this year's speakers, representing the interior architecture and design major as well as the sustainability minor. Now I know what you're thinking. Get on with it. I'm hot, this chair's uncomfortable, and I skipped breakfast. Same. Honestly, same. But real quick, I'd like to thank those who helped get me through the past 4 years. The ones that answered about 1 million of my late night calls, supported me through my wild ideas and helped turn them into reality, listened to all my dragged out rants, pushed me when I got too comfortable, laughed with me so we didn't cry, and most importantly, stood by me even when I doubted myself. It hasn't been easy, but your support became my strength and helped me become the person I'm proud to be today. Before we throw these caps and scatter on different journeys, I have some things to say, but I promise I'll be quick, unlike this degree, which felt like designing a building that kept adding extra floors overnight. I'm from a small Wisconsin town, and coming to Milwaukee and MIAD felt like stepping into a whole new world. It gave me a fresh perspective, time to figure out who I am, and naturally to go into Infinity and beyond. Everything sounds perfect. I was moving to a big city, living on my own for the first time, sharing an apartment with roommates, taking classes that actually aligned with my interests. Little did I know the city had its own plans for me. And here's the thing that nobody told us at orientation. College is basically the movie Home Alone. You were Kevin McAllister, your parents drove away, there was no one coming to save you. You had to learn how to do all the mundane adult stuff on your own while balancing school, a job, or two, learning how to cook, and somehow squeeze in a couple hours of sleep. At some point, it probably became overwhelming and you screamed into your hands just like Kevin in the mirror, except this time it's because you checked your Canvas assignments page or your bank account. But Kevin persevered and figured it out, and so did we. We never stopped when the printers were out of order, again, or when a forum post we'd been ignoring all week was suddenly due in 10 minutes. And just to clarify, your thoughts are very interesting, and I really enjoyed your perspective on the topic. Kevin never gave up when things got a little tricky, and neither did you. You're here because you faced critics, doubters, and anyone who called art school easy by proving them wrong and refusing to let them stop you. As for interior architecture and design, the program isn't just about tile selection, cohesive color palettes, or making pretty spaces with patterned pillows. It's about problem solving, collaboration, adaptability, and creativity. It's also about surviving all-nighters fueled by nothing but dreams and determination. How to cry quietly while someone circles your life's work with a red pen, and how to take breaks when your program freezes. Art school teaches us confidence, not because you always know what you're doing, but because you defended something you made 12 hours ago like it was a lifelong philosophy. As for this, every challenge, every late night, every frustration has shaped us into the resilient, creative, and unstoppable designers we are today, and that's exactly what we take with us after graduation. So now that we're breaking free, don't stick to the status quo, and remember, this is the start of something new. And most importantly, never forget that if you do not go after what you want, you will never have it. You have to be brave and step into the unknown. That's where growth happens, opportunities appear, and where you discover what you're truly capable of. If you do not ask, the answer is always no. Don't sit around wondering, go and find out. You might be surprised at how often this works out in your favor. If you do not step forward, you will always be in the same place. It's okay to be scared, but don't let fear lead. Move on your own terms and lead and build the life you want. Even when it feels uncomfortable, I hope you say yes to the moments that take a little more courage than you think you have. That's the lesson that I might leave with. Because the best things tend to happen just beyond your comfort zone if you're brave enough to step into them. And if that sounds easier said than done, it's because it is. But this is proof that you too can do scary things. So if all else fails, just scream into your hands and get back to work.
Thank you, Courtney. Our final student speaker today is Carmen Briones, a student from Cambria, Wisconsin. Carmen is receiving her BFA in Product Design magna cum laude. Please join me in welcoming Carmen to the podium.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Carmen Briones. I am so incredibly excited to be here and to be able to share this moment with all of you. It's an honor to be representing some of the hardest working people I know and love like family. If I'm being honest, I had no clue what industrial or product design were until the last year of high school. I had been planning on going into engineering actually, and just really couldn't bring myself to shut off the part of me that wanted to be a creative. At that moment, industrial design was introduced to me as the perfect combination of technicality and creativity. I know this is an experience that many of us in product design have had. Industrial design and product design are not about making something that just looks pretty. It's about making things that blend seamlessly into people's daily lives. We are the people that design your furniture, your clothes, your electronics, your cars, your medical equipment, your kids' toys, and so much more. Everything you use is designed, yet it's rarely thought of or talked about. As designers, it is our responsibility to create things that make the world a better place, to design for accessibility, inclusivity, sustainability, to always design with empathy for all people, and to be the best version of ourselves that we can possibly be. During our time here, we have all been pushed to grow and exceed beyond what we thought we were capable of. All of the long nights, all of the energy drinks, all of the inhaled green foam dust finally paid off and led to this moment. We solved the problems that came our way, not as individuals, but as a team. I want to take a moment and recognize and appreciate those who supported us throughout these past few years. Our full-time professors, John Caruso and Frank Savage, and our late professor, Murph, who always said, life is just a series of stories you get to tell. My hope is that your time here gave you all stories that you can look back on with joy and satisfaction. Have no regrets. Share your story to help motivate the next generation of creatives. And as you go out into the world, continue to write your own stories and be a part of others. There are many more chapters after this one ends. From the bottom of my heart, thank you to my friends and family, Mom, Dad, my grandparents, and my beautiful cat, Taz. I could not have done it without you. We could not have done it without you. And to my fellow classmates, I hope that you always stay inspired, passionate, and curious. Cheers and congratulations to the class of 2026. You rock.
Thank you, Carmen. And can we have another round of applause for our 2026 MIAD student commencement speakers? Really fantastic. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce Adam Osgood, Professor of Illustration and 2006 MIAD alum. Adam is an award-winning illustrator with a passion for motion-based illustration. He's created work for clients including Hyundai, Lionsgate, and Yahoo. And his animation work has been screened at festivals around the world. Adam's book, Motion Illustration: How to Use Animation Techniques to Make Illustration Move, was published by Bloomsbury in 2024. Please join me in welcoming Professor Adam Osgood.
Congratulations, class of 2026. If you don't know me, and thank you for the introduction, Jody, my name is Adam Osgood, and I'm a professor in the illustration department and animation track. I'm also an alum of this program and get to work with many of the teachers who helped shape my path in life. I have the honor today of speaking to you on behalf of the faculty. I graduated from MIAD in 2006, and coincidentally, today happens to be exactly 20 years ago since I was sitting in one of your seats. The incredible thing about time is how fluid it is and how quickly it seems to pass by. I remember the 2006 graduation ceremony as if it were yesterday. Two things especially stick out in my memory. First, my mom told me I wasn't allowed to decorate my hat because she wanted the deposit back from Jostens. Second, I couldn't wait for my professional life to begin. I was in a rush to start the fantasy of what I thought being a professional illustrator would be. I couldn't wait for the ceremony and my graduation party and all of the other in-between moments to be over with, so I could land the defining project where I could finally feel like I made it. What I've learned in these 20 years is that most artists, despite amazing professional track records, never truly feel like they've made it, because there is always a bigger project just out of arm's reach. Understanding this can be valuable knowledge. It's important to pause and take time to appreciate the small wins and successes. But even more importantly, to celebrate the oftentimes messy daily journey of the in-between. I had a book published a couple years ago, which was very exciting, but it wouldn't have felt momentous without 4 years of writing, shepherding contributors, appeasing editors, and engaging with a team of designers. As you start the next phase of your life, try your best to enjoy each moment of the messy in-between. You only get to do something for the first time once, so try to enjoy all of it, from the simple joy of making to the mind-numbing process of preparing your taxes, to the challenges of working with a client who thinks making art is easy. The entire journey, even the frustrating parts, is what makes the successes feel earned. In preparing this speech, I've been trying to think about the advice that has been most useful for me as a human artist traversing the global economics of planet Earth, and especially what would have been most useful for me to think about at the start of my career. All of the best advice I've received comes down to the same idea: be slow and steady working towards your goals. I want to talk about how you can be the tortoise, slow, steady, and persistent in 3 specific areas of your life: your wallet, your work, and your world. Number 1, start planning for your retirement today. When I was in my early 20s, I was in a car accident. After that, I saw a chiropractor once a week for several years. While she was never able to fix my back, she did set me on the path towards financial security. Every time I visited her office, she would lecture me about personal finances. She told me that I needed to open a Roth IRA. My family never talked about money, and I didn't really know what a Roth IRA was or how valuable this advice would turn out to be. But because I trusted her, I went to the bank and opened a retirement account and very, very slowly started putting money into it. There were certainly moments during my early 20s where I could have used that retirement money to help pay my bills, and logging into my bank account and seeing that chunk of cash just sitting there was not satisfying. However imperceptible, the money slowly grew, and now 20 years later, I continue to add to it, and it continues to grow through simple investments. I know that in 20 more years, when I'm starting to think about the next phase of my life, I will be grateful to 22-year-old Adam for listening to Dr. Ronchetti's advice about starting that account. While I cannot give you specific financial advice, I do encourage you to start saving now, slow and steady. Your money will grow all on its own if you take advantage of compound interest, but you need lots of time for that to happen. Start small and try to put a consistent amount of money into your retirement account each month. For instance, if you deposit just $20 a month for 40 years, I know that seems like a long time, but that's how long you have, you'll have spent a total of $10,000 of your own money. However, with reasonable rates of return, you will likely quadruple your investment. That's $30,000 in free money. Why wouldn't you want $30,000 free dollars? Give your 60-year-old self that gift. My chiropractor taught me that a retirement account isn't a vault you fill all at once. It's a series of tiny, unremarkable deposits that over time can transform into financial independence. Number 2, be tenacious in your art practice. You are the next generation of designers, artists, illustrators, animators, writers, and community activists. You have an innate need and desire to create. For some of you, success will come easy. Perhaps you already have a job lined up in your field, and that is truly wonderful. For others, the journey to artistic success will be a long and winding road. This is okay, and you are not alone. The most important thing you can do is to be persistent and consistent with your art practice. Think about your practice like the retirement account that you are all going to start Monday morning when the bank's open. How can you be persistent in making deposits into your art practice so that in 20 years you can look back and see major growth? Challenge yourself to set aside time every day to draw or make something. It doesn't have to be a big project or something that's great or something that takes a lot of time to make. It could be just 20 minutes a day. The key is to keep making and keep sharing. The only way to fail at this is to stop. When I was younger, one of my teachers told me not to compare myself to others. I always thought that was great advice. Remember that the only person you are in competition with is yourself, and you get to decide what the stakes are. As long as you can look back in 1 year, or 5 years, or even 20 years down the road and see that you've grown and that you've done things you were proud of, that's what really matters. Number 3, engage in your democracy. Just as you must be tenacious in your studio, you must be vigilant in your community. Because your art doesn't exist in a vacuum. It exists in the context of global economics and geopolitics. I'm going to tell you something I think you know already. You are about to enter a turbulent economy. As I mentioned earlier, I graduated in 2006. Little did I know that the housing crisis was just a couple years away and our economy was on the brink of failure. At the time, I worked as a graphic designer for a global talent firm called Aquent at a boutique agency within Rockwell Automation. That's the building with the big clock tower across the river. In 2009, the CEO of Aquent gathered every Aquent studio across the country on a single speakerphone call and fired all of us from his office in Boston. In that moment, I was devastated and confused. I depended on that job to pay my bills and for health care. But a funny thing happened that year. Without a full-time job, I was forced to hustle as a freelancer. I pieced together an income from contract work, doing graphic design, freelance illustration work, and a teaching gig at Discovery World. To my surprise, that year, I ended up earning almost twice as much as I did in my full-time role at Rockwell. What I learned from this experience is that with persistence and hustle, even in the worst of times, there is a path forward. You know very well that our world is full of problems: human rights, global warming, and income equality, to name just a few. And as hopeless as it can seem sometimes, if we chart human progress from the dawn of man until now, things are getting better, even though the pace is anemic. Activist Rebecca Solnit wrote a book called Hope in the Dark in 2004 during the Iraq War. This passage feels as prescient and meaningful today as it did 20 years ago. She writes, "Of course we're going to lose a lot. We've already lost a lot, but we don't have to lose everything, and we don't have to surrender. Progress is made through civic deposits. Voting is a deposit. Mentoring a younger artist is a deposit. Refusing to be cynical in a loud world is a deposit. Engaging in the messy, slow work of democracy is how we prevent the humanity account from going bankrupt. It's slow, it's steady, and it's how we refuse to surrender. Be loud, MIAD graduates. The world is yours." And finally, if you remember just one thing I said today, it's to open an individual retirement account on Monday morning and put just $20 in it. Thank you for your attention. On behalf of the faculty, congratulations again.
I feel like I need to go off script just for a moment. In preparing Adam's introduction, I went through a couple years of his student evaluations, which he doesn't know that. And there was like the most effusive, authentic, long comment from a student about a professional practice class that was all about tax preparation. And I was like, I don't know how to use this. Now I know. It's true. Thank you. Well, we should all take your advice. So now it is my pleasure to welcome artist, educator, and longtime supporter of creative education, Amanda Singh, MIAD's Board of Trustees President. Amanda.
Good morning. My name is Amanda Singh, and it is my honor to serve as board chair for MIAD and to speak to you today on behalf of the Board of Trustees. Take a breath. In this room, you are surrounded by so many of your intersecting communities. Look around. We are all here. Parents, friends, family, faculty, mentors, staff, classmates, critics, collaborators. These people represent years of support, challenge, care, and belief, and we are all gathered here to celebrate your collective triumph. You made it, and you know what it took you to get here. Within these communities, you learned how to create, to iterate, to get back to it even when you felt stuck. In the critique process, you challenged yourself to consider what could be improved, strengthened, and clarified. You learned how to push through a problem until it became better. You learned and practiced resilience. These skills will serve you far beyond the studio, because at some point, this room will change. Your communities might not feel as accessible or as close as they do now. The cheers will get quieter. Your ideas might get stuck without bouncing them off of the person next to you. And that's okay, because you can become a community of one. After all, there's only one person in this room who is guaranteed to be with you for the rest of your life, and that's you. So be the community you need for yourself. Develop your inner voice to be supportive and accountable. Be kind to yourself. That's really important. And when you're stuck, ask yourself what can be refined. People talk about resilience as something that's grand or abstract. And maybe it is, but it can also be much smaller. Sometimes it's just a deep breath and asking yourself, what's the next best decision? And the answer might be to take a nap or to go outside. Sometimes it will be to begin again or to just show up. And sometimes the next best decision will be to call or text a friend, because even as a resilient community of one, you will need to plug back into your larger communities to recharge. Find your new communities, make them, join them, have several. Stay connected to MIAD and your fellow alumni. Seek out your MIAD professors and people who challenge and support you. Be that support for others. And again, breathe. You will soon be making work that will shape how people understand information, move through spaces, experience products, encounter stories, and sometimes rethink what beauty can be. That is profound and exciting. Remember this feeling. The loud applause is for you. And when it fades, remember to cheer for yourself too, especially as you keep going, keep creating, and keep making the next best decision. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, congratulations. We are so proud of you.
Thank you, Amanda. And now it's time for us to prepare for the conferring of degrees. Before we begin, I'd like to share a little bit about the academic regalia you see today, and I want to reference Bailey and our fashion and apparel program. What we're wearing today has historical origins. It goes back to medieval times when higher education was emerging. So the colors of our gowns and hoods and regalia often represent the places we attended and the degrees we've earned. Today, each MIAD graduate is wearing a cord that signifies their major. Communication design, red; fashion and apparel design, emerald; fine arts and new studio practice, blue; interior architecture and design, burnt orange; product design, purple. Some students are also wearing maroon, white, and gold cords to signify membership and Alpha Lambda Delta, the National Honor Society recognizing academic excellence during a student's first year of college. Roughly 2/3 of our graduates today will receive an additional cord with their diploma to signify academic achievement, and we will acknowledge those honors as names are read. Today, 26 students have achieved the highest academic honor, summa cum laude, with cumulative GPAs between 3.9 and 4.0. They will receive a white cord. Additionally, 26 students have earned cumulative GPAs between 3.8 and 3.89, achieving the second highest honor, magna cum laude. They will receive a gold cord. Finally, 49 students have earned cum laude honors with cumulative GPAs between 3.5 and 3.79. They will receive a silver cord. Got it? It'll be, no, just kidding. You can ask me later. And now it's time, though, to recognize the graduating class of 2026. Each graduate's name will be read by the chair of their department, Adam Setala, Jamal Curry, or Sarah Eichhorn. Each graduate's name will be read, and then those in attendance will cross the stage and proceed to Jeff to receive your diploma. We ask that the audience please hold your applause until all students within each major or program have been recognized. I know, that's it. I said it. Remember, time will be the issue. Will the first row of graduates please stand to receive your diplomas?
Good morning. My name is Adam Setala, and I am the chair of MIAD's Communication Design Department. It is my honor this morning to read for you the names of those students graduating this year with a degree in communication design. Ready? Evan Bittner. Mac Bronson, summa cum laude. Ellie Burns. Olivia Frances Chronister. B. Dennis. V. Dievendorf, magna cum laude. Melody Frias, double major, illustration and communication design, summa cum laude. Liberty Green, double major, communication design, fine art, new studio practice. William Riley Henry, cum laude. Malia Keck, summa cum laude. Marina Lasova, cum laude. Mia Ann McDonald, cum laude. Maxwell Stratton Marlowe, minor in business. Good job, buddy. Solomon Mitchell, cum laude. Zayden Munch. Olivia Nava, cum laude. Zoe Petzelis, magna cum laude. Zoe. Catherine T. Pendowski, minor illustration, cum laude. Michaela Ann Prishman, summa cum laude. Germa Jason Schrank, cum laude. Emily Ann Schwind, cum laude. Jade Treadway. Jessica Turnbull, minors in art history and advertising, summa cum laude. May Underwood. Benton Irma Vulik. Lydia Marie Walls, minor advertising, cum laude. Tatum Rain Woodcock, summa cum laude.
Hello. Excuse me. I'm Sarah Eichhorn, Associate Professor and Chair of the 3D Design Department. It's my honor this morning to read the names of the first group of graduates in fashion and apparel design. Kalalea Jasmine. Joe Klein. Isabel Rose Messenger, cum laude. Bailey Starkle, cum laude.
Hello, I'm Jamal Curry. I'm Jamal Curry, Chair of Fine Arts New Studio Practices, and it's my absolute pleasure and honor to present the candidates for the degree in Fine Arts and New Studio Practice. Susanna Andrade. Lyle Alexander Atkinson, cum laude. Anna Barr, summa cum laude. Greta Behrens, summa cum laude. Natalie Branch, cum laude. Jaden Brink. Kevin Jean Brown, Jr. Kaylee Bueller, with a minor, with minors in art history and business, summa cum laude. Mason Burton, cum laude. Megan Butler, magna cum laude. Darwin Rafferty Childers, magna cum laude. Emily Dom, cum laude. Catherine Grace Dunn, cum laude. Cora Finch. Kennedy Marie Gerber, with a minor in illustration, cum laude. Quincy Gibson. Ava Gromacki, with a minor in sciences, magna cum laude. Yeah, sure. Elliot Joan Hagen, with a minor in writing, magna cum laude. Anaya Marie Rose LaPaul Harris, with minors in art history and arts management. Jane Henningsgaard. Pleasure. Melanie Hernandez, cum laude. Levi Edwin Johnson. Vicky Jordan. Jack Rabbit Klitschman. Sophia Licari, cum laude. Melanie Macias Real. Lauren Martin. Naovi Morales Del Valle, cum laude. Yeah. Michaela Moran, magna cum laude. Donnie Morcaccio. Madison Mount. June Moyer, with a minor in illustration, magna cum laude. Sarah Beth Murphy, cum laude. Caesar Gwen. Yeah. Magna cum laude. Alexandra Catherine Norell. Odin Cole Onan, with a minor in digital media production, cum laude. Ashley Esmeralda Osario, magna cum laude. Ellery Pasquale, summa cum laude. Yeah! Cassie Rapp, summa cum laude. Yeah, same. Rowan Rower. Lavinia Rosenthal, summa cum laude. Mia Downing Scannell, cum laude. Emma Elizabeth Schock. Sydney Elizabeth Short, with a minor in art history, summa cum laude. Amanda Olinda Smithovis, with a minor in art history, summa cum laude. Emma Jeanette Stempian, with a minor in psychology, Helena Cicero, with a minor in sciences, cum laude. Yeah. Christine Sullivan, with a minor in furniture, cum laude. Marta Teresia, with a minor in furniture, magna cum laude. Yeah. Abby Tomes. Natalie White, with a minor in illustration. Hope Elizabeth Wilworth. Rowena Joy Wismiller, cum laude. Skylar J. Wyatt.
I'm back. I'm bringing a friend, though, this time. So again, I'm Sarah Eichhorn. I'm Associate Professor and Chair of the 3D Design Department, and I'm bringing up Krista Meneghini, who teaches in our Interior Architecture and Design. And it's my honor to read the names of our Interior Architecture and Design graduates. Mackenzie Ray Sinakata, cum laude. Natalie Ann Cook, cum laude. Courtney Deering, minor in sustainability, cum laude. Gabriela Amora Figueroa. Maya Kane, magna cum laude. Jaden Nelson, cum laude. I have some new friends now. We have Frank Savage and John Caruso. And it's now my privilege to read the names of our graduates in product design. Carmen Briones, magna cum laude. Nick Chung, cum laude. Yes, thank you. Juliana Clayton, minor in soft goods, cum laude. Will Gates II. Judah Hansen. Anna Keebler. Sophia Ann Mazzolari, cum laude. Logan Morris, cum laude.
Give me a hug, Carissa. Congratulations. Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you, Sarah.
Audrey Nadrasik, cum laude. Andrea Rosas. Alin Ruth Schaus, magna cum laude.
You did it.
Ali Tetzloff. Christina Thomas. Toby Waters.
Not yet. They have not graduated yet. You will get to explode in about half a minute. Graduating class, not graduates, graduating class, please stand. The Milwaukee Institute of Art and Design, by virtue of the authority vested in the Board of Trustees by the state of Wisconsin, and upon recommendation of the faculty, hereby confers upon you, with all of the honors, rights, and privileges, the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts. Now,
Good morning. I'm Kyle Hernandez with the MIAD Alumni Association and Alumni Director at MIAD. The Alumni Association is a dues-free community of alumni promoting engagement and connection through events, philanthropy, and volunteer service, benefiting the college, its students, and the greater creative community. Driven by a board of dedicated alumni volunteers, we invite graduates to stay engaged with the college through volunteerism and joining us at our next alumni social event. As MIAD boldly looks to a shared creative future with our students and alumni, we welcome you to keep in touch and share all of your future successes, of which I'm sure there will be many. It's my honor to welcome the class of 2026 to the MIAD alumni community. Congratulations.
We're almost there. Around the country at this point, college presidents are given the privilege of giving a charge to the graduating class. I take this one very personally, every year, but in particular this year. The charge is not something that I write down. It's a conversation I want to have with the class. Y'all can listen in and stay seated. But I want to have a conversation with the graduating class. I've taken my charge directly from one of you today. And it happened over pizza. What many of you don't know is that once a month I get together with students, probably a dozen students at a time, for pizza. I'm under no delusion they're there for the pizza. But I learn so much about what it is like to be young, to be a student, to be at MIAD, to see what drives you. And in this year where our identities, our communities, our heritage, our families, our educations are precarious, I think about going into these pizzas, and I have one statement that I make when I sit down with the students for lunch. I will honestly answer any question that you ask me. And that makes me nervous. Given what's in the headlines on any given day, given the town halls we've had about how we make the college safe today, part of me is very nervous about sitting down and opening up to answer any question. And the students are always lovely. Those of you that had a hand in it did a great job. They're always kind, they're generous, they're strident and they're forthright, and we have a conversation for an hour. The news cycle was particularly bad during one of these times that we got together for lunch. And I was walking and dreading the questions that I really can't answer about what the college will do about things that are happening on the national level and where we have a very small presence. And the students were so upbeat. They were laughing, they were sharing stories. We were talking about lighthearted things, not the heavy things that I was carrying with me. So I had to stop at one point and say, why are you so well adjusted? Why are you doing so well? Haven't you watched the news? And one of the students said, I'm not worried, my community has my back. And that community might have meant all of you. That community hopefully included some of the rest of us at MIAD. That community might have included those of you sitting behind the barricade. And so that's the center of my charge to you. We heard about being a community of one because some of you are going to move off and have to build your community. But you have one here. A charge is like a lifelong assignment. You take it with you and you work on it for the rest of your life. So my charge to you is have the back of somebody else. Live up to what one of you said, my community has my back. That's my charge to you. And now, a little bit of housekeeping. For the audience, please allow the faculty and the graduates to exit first. Graduates will be directed out of the theater to the Milwaukee Center. Family and friends will be directed to exit the Pabst from the Water Street exit and can meet up with their graduates in the Milwaukee Center or re-enter the Pabst at the Wells Street entrance to attend the next ceremony. The senior exhibition is open at MIAD until 5 o'clock today. Each year, graduates select the music that will be played at the end of the ceremony. Please direct all of your comments directly to your graduating senior. You do not need to email me about the selection. As is appropriate at such an august event, we have an additional attendee, and we're using the code word drywall. If you know, you know, and it's going to confuse the rest of you. So, as we get ready to process out, drywall is going to help us.